Alright, folks, in this series, the Völuspá Explained, I'm going to read every stanza of the Old Norse poem Völuspá and explain every line. So stay tuned, you're going to learn a lot about Norse mythology. The Völuspá is the first poem of the Poetic Edda, a collection of Old Norse poems written down in medieval Iceland, and is one of the most important sources for the study of Norse mythology. In this poem, the god Odin summons up a Vala, or oracle, to question her about the past, present, and future. She tells of the creation of the world, the gods and giants, and of the up-and-coming doomsday, Ragnarök. So, without further ado, here's the first stanza. Silence, I ask, of the sacred folk, silence of the kith and kin of Heimdall. At your will, Valfather, I shall well relate. The old songs of men I remember best. In this stanza, the oracle is ordering an audience to be silent so she can recite her prophecy. Alright, the first line. Silence, I ask of the sacred folk. Silence of the kith and kin of Heimdall. Sacred folk refers to the Aesir gods, basically the pantheon of Norse mythology, and the kith and kin of Heimdall refers to humans. This is presumably a reference to the story of Yggdrasil, where the god Heimdall fathers the three social classes of humans: thralls, churls, and jarls, which are peasants, freemen, and nobles, respectively. Alright, next line. At your will, Valfather. Valfather is one of Odin's many names, which means father of the slain. Odin sits in Valhalla and hosts the Einarjar, brave warriors slain in battle who were chosen by the Valkyries. Alright, next stanza. I tell of giants from times forgotten, those who fed me in former days. 9 worlds I can reckon, 9 roots of the tree, the wonderful ash way under the ground. The first line, I tell of giants from times forgotten, those who fed me in former days. So, the oracle is very old and can remember the giants or Jotuns that raised her when she was younger. And next line, 9 worlds I can reckon, 9 roots of the tree, the wonderful ash way under the ground. Here, the oracle is talking about Yggdrasil, the great and mighty ash tree that holds up the center of the world, or cosmos. 9 worlds. The 9 worlds mentioned here are never fully listed in any source, but they may include Asgard, the home of the gods, Midgard, which is the home of mankind where we live, Jotunheim, which is the land of the giants in the east, and even parts of the underworld like Hell. And in the last part, way under the ground. The Vala lived so long ago she can remember when Yggdrasil was just a seed under the ground. Alright, the third stanza. When Ymir lived long ago, was no sand or sea, no surging waves. Nowhere was there earth nor heaven above. Bur a grinning gap, and grass nowhere. So here the Vala is describing a time before the world existed. When Ymir lived long ago. Ymir was a primordial giant and probably the first being to exist. He was born from the fires of Muspell and the ice of Niflheim mixing together in the cosmic void. Muspell being the primordial land of fire, and Niflheim being the primordial land of cold and fog. And in the next line, Bur, a grinning gap, and grass nowhere. Bur, after Ymir was born, a cow named Adhumbla licked the ice for nourishment, and after 3 days a man named Bur emerged. He is the original ancestor of the Aesir gods and is Odin's grandfather. And the last part, Grinning Gap. This refers to Gununga Gap, the yawning void that existed before heaven and earth were made. Alright, moving on to the next stanza. The sons of Bur then built up the lands, molded in magnificence, Middle Earth. Sun started from the south on the stones of their hall. From the ground there sprouted green leeks. Okay, first line. The sons of Bur then built up the lands, molded in magnificence, Middle Earth. The sons of Bur, Odin and his two brothers, Vili and Vi. The sons of Bur fought against the sons of the giant Ymir, and when they finally vanquished Ymir, the blood from his wounds drowned all the giants except Braglamir and his family, who escaped the flood in a boat. Compare that to the story of Noah's Ark in the Old Testament. Or it seems kind of similar. And then next line. Molded in magnificence, Middle Earth. After defeating the old giant Ymir, Odin and his two brothers used Ymir's corpse to create Midgard, or Middle Earth, the home of men. His flesh became the land, his blood became the sea, his bones the mountains, and his eyelashes were used to make a fence that surrounds the world. And the last line. Sun started from the south on the stones of their hall. From the ground there sprouted green leeks. The sun rises over the newly formed world and plants begin to grow. Next stanza. Sun turned from the south, sister of moon. Her right arm rested on the rim of heaven. She had no inkling where her hall was, nor moon a notion what might he had. The planets knew not where their places were. This stanza talks about the sun goddess Sol and moon god Mani, who are pulled across the sky in chariots by horses. And in this early stage of the cosmos, don't know where their places and orbits in heaven are yet. In the Poetic Edda, it says that Sol and Mani were placed in the heavens to drive the sun and moon chariots because their father Mundilfari had the arrogance to name them after the sun and moon. Next stanza. The high gods gathered in council, in their hall of judgment, all the rulers. To night and to nightfall their names given. The morning they named, and the midday, midwinter, midsummer, for the assigning of years. The Aesir gods gather in their judgment hall to name the times and seasons so the years can be counted and the passage of time can be documented. So basically putting the universe in order. Next stanza. At Idda's field the Aesir met. Temple and altar they timbered and raised, set up a forge to smith treasures, tongs they fashioned, and tools wroth. Idda's field, or Idda is the green field where the gods first made their temples and forges. The Aesir are descended from Bor, who is descended from Bur, and Odin is their chief god. Alright, next stanza. Played chess in the court, and cheerful were. Gold they lacked not, the gleaming metal. Then came three, the Thurs maidens, rejoicing in their strength from giant home. This is pretty interesting. Played chess in the court and cheerful were. Gold they lacked not, the gleaming metal. Now the gods are enjoying a golden age where they have lots of wealth and spend their time playing fun games. Next line. Then Then came 3, the Thurs maidens, rejoicing in their strength from giant home. Then the golden age comes to an end with the sudden arrival of 3 mysterious Thurs maidens, or female giants from Jotunheim, the home of the giants. Next stanza. The high gods gathered in council, in their hall of judgment, who of the dwarves should mold man by master craft, from Brimir's blood and Blaine's limbs. The Aesir gods gather in their judgment hall and decide to create the dwarves from Brimir's blood and Blaine's limbs. The leftover material from Ymir's corpse is used to make the dwarves. So basically, Brimir's blood and Blaine's limb means the body parts of Ymir. Next stanza. Motsognir was their mighty ruler, greatest of dwarves, and Durin after him. The dwarves did as Durin directed, many man-forms made from the earth. Motsognir is the ruler of the dwarves. His name means he who drinks in might, or courage. After Motsognir came Durin, who orders that more dwarves be made from the earth. Next comes the catalogue of dwarves, a list of all the famous dwarves, which are Durin's folk. Okay, continuing, next stanza. I must tell of the dwarves and Davlin's host. Like lions they were in Lofer's time. In Jarvil's marsh they made their dwelling, from their stone hall set out on journeys. Davlin, whose name means one who sleeps, along with Lofar, leads a large group of dwarves from their home in the mountains on a journey to find a new home. They settle in Jarvil's marsh. After the great exodus from the mountains to the marshlands, some of the brave dwarves are listed, i.e., the long line of Lofer's forebearers. Alright, folks, and that was the first episode of the Völuspá Explained. If you found this video entertaining or informative, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Cheers!